Is the plaintiff ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, begin.
May it please the court? $80. It might not seem like it's a lot of money, but think about it. There's so much you can do with it. You could go to Sheetz and buy 80 coffees. You could go to Wall Street and get a share of Walmart stock. You could buy any number of cell phones, MP3 players. The list goes on and on. $80 goes a long way. And in the case of Ruffed Grouse High School, what they could have done is even more impressive. They could have bought a drug test. And that drug test would have saved the life of Jordan Simon. But they didn't buy it. And Jordan Simon is dead. My name is Jacob FOOSE. And today, we will represent the plaintiff, Kelly Simon, who is administrating the estate of Jordan Simon. Jordan Simon died as a result of the abuse of the drug erythropoietin, causing a young girl in the athletic prime of her life to die of a heart attack and a stroke. Now, her death was unfortunate and it was tragic, but just her dying isn't the only reason we are here today. We are here today because Ruffed Grouse High School had their priorities entirely backwards. They charged students $30,000 a year in tuition, and yet they wouldn't buy an $80 drug test. Whenever a teacher or coach would bring a claim to the school would give them bonuses, sometimes ranging up to $22,000. And yet with all of these lavish expenditures, the school wouldn't buy one drug test. One test that was $80. Instead of being responsible, Ruffed Grouse High School fostered an environment where performance-enhancing drugs were tacitly encouraged. Those bonuses put pressure on their coaches to perform year after year, and they in turn put pressure on their athletes to do better than they thought they could. And that's where Terry Swift comes into play. Terry was the coach of Ruffed Grouse High School's track team. Jordan Simon ran track and was phenomenal at it. She would have been a catch for any D1 school, but she needed a coach to take her to those great heights. Terry Swift saw her run and was impressed, so Jordan ran for Ruffed Grouse High School her freshman year. Her times were out of this world, but began to flatten and even get worse. To remedy this, Terry Swift made her go on a summer-long training program where Jordan Simon would take what Terry Swift wanted her to take and train how Terry Swift wanted her to train. Now, three things came as a result of this. The first was that Jordan Simon's times exploded. She was smashing state records early on in her junior year. The second was that Jordan began to meet with Leona Hamlet, a former Ruffed Grouse track team member who had smashed the state records, had trained under Terry Swift, and had been caught abusing erythropoietin, the same drug that Jordan Simon died as a result of. The third result was that Jordan Simon began to experience headaches and dizziness, mood swings, fainting. These were all signs of erythropoietin abuse. Terry Swift observed these signs. Terry Swift knew what these signs meant. But what did Terry Swift do? And what did Ruffed Grouse High School do? Nothing. Now, we the plaintiff will call three witnesses to the stand today. The first is Kelly Simon, the mother of the deceased Jordan Simon, who will testify to how Terry Swift's coaching styles destroyed Jordan Simon's life. Our next witness, Morgan Pierce, Jordan Simon's best friend, will come up and testify to the same things, as well as tell you that Terry Swift was definitely aware that Jordan Simon was abusing performance-enhancing drugs, but when Morgan brought these claims to her, Terry Swift just wrote them off. Our final witness is Lynn Roper, an expert in the field of performance-enhancing drugs, who will tell you that a private school like Ruffed Grouse High School has no excuse not to institute these drug testing policies. Now, we are here to prove negligence, meaning that Ruffed Grouse had a duty of care to Jordan Simon, and they breached it, causing her death. They had a duty of care as Jordan's school, and Terry Swift had a duty of care as her coach. Furthermore, since Terry Swift is an agent of Ruffed Grouse High School, all of Terry Swift's negligent actions can be attributed to Ruffed Grouse High School. Also, this is a civil case, so we, the plaintiff, have the burden of proof. We must be the ones to show you all the evidence to Ruffed Grouse High School's guilt, the negligence, and we are confident that at the end of this trial, the evidence will overwhelmingly point towards the plaintiff. Now, we are also confident that Attorney ZINDEL will come up here soon and attempt to point the finger of blame at someone, anyone that isn't Ruffed Grouse High School. But again, we are confident that at the end of this trial, the evidence will unequivocally point in favor of the plaintiff, Kelly Simon. Now, At the end of this trial, Attorney McIntosh will come up and remind you of all that we will prove over the course of today. And that is that ruffed grouse is responsible for the death of Jordan Simon. We have the burden of proof. We must show you all of the evidence to this side of the case. We are confident that at the end of this trial, you will deliver a verdict in favor of justice, that delivers justice to Jordan Simon and is in favor of the plaintiff. Thank you.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
I give your opening.
Thank you. Today, you will hear the tragic story of a young girl whose life was cut short. Today, you will hear about Jordan Simon, who, as Mr. FOOSE told you, died from performance-enhancing drug use. As you will quite soon see, Jordan's death was a true tragedy. But, as I hope you will come to believe, not every tragedy has a villain. Good morning. My name is George ZINDEL, and I, along with my co-counsel, represent Rough Grouse High School, the defendant in today's case. Jordan Simon was a high school track star who fell victim to addiction. She became addicted to and later overdosed on EPO, a form of performance-enhancing drug. Kelly Simon, Jordan's mother, is bringing suit, claiming negligence on behalf of Rough Grouse. But as you will learn, Rough Grouse did everything the law requires when it comes to performance-enhancing drugs, and in fact, they went above and beyond that. Now, the plaintiff in today's case holds the burden to prove their claim to you by a preponderance of the evidence. This means they must prove that Rough Grouse violated the standard of care that is expected of high schools like them. As the defense, we hold no burden. However, we will nevertheless make clear 3 key points. First, EPO is difficult to catch. Second, Jordan Simon was always 2 steps ahead. And third, Rough Grouse High School went the extra mile. So let's talk about that first point. EPO is difficult to catch. As the evidence will show, the symptoms that someone using EPO exhibits are nearly impossible to differentiate from the average teenager. They include moodiness, fatigue, and headaches. Furthermore, as the evidence will show, testing of EPO usage or PED usage is incredibly unreliable. Defense expert witness Aubrey Brady will come before you and tell you that despite the incredible expense of these tests, they are extremely unreliable. Now, the plaintiff may try and tell you that Rough Grouse should have had mandatory testing for its athletes, but again, as the evidence will show, not a single high school in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is held to this standard. Therefore, Rough Grouse can't be. The second point, Jordan Simon was always 2 steps ahead. As you will hear, Jordan was always winning races, even back when she was in middle school. The plaintiff may try and tell you that because Jordan was winning in high school, Coach Swift should have been aware that she was using performance-enhancing drugs, but Jordan had always been this way. They may try and tell you that the decrease in Jordan's times should have been an indicator that she was using performance-enhancing drugs, but again, as the evidence will show, her time drops were on par with those that her competitors experienced. Jordan was also 2 steps ahead off the track. She fooled everyone. She didn't tell her mother. She didn't tell her best friend, let alone Coach Swift. On the third point, Rough Grouse went the extra mile. As you will hear, they did everything in their power to educate their students about PEDs. They sent home pamphlets. They initiated a zero-tolerance policy, and they even incorporated PED education into their curriculum. Now, in a case like this, where a young student dies, it's natural to feel the need to blame. Grief demands an answer, but sometimes there isn't one. Members of the jury, I ask that you keep an open mind throughout the course of today's trial. Remember, EPO is difficult to catch. Jordan was always 2 steps ahead, and Rough Grouse High School went the extra mile. If you do, I'm sure you will come to see Miss Simon's death as a true tragedy. But you will also come to believe that not every tragedy has a villain. Thank you.